Right, good afternoon guys. I'm just blowing away a few cobwebs from yesterday. Yesterday was my birthday. Thanks to everyone that kind of commented and wished me loads of birthday wishes and stuff. It was pretty crazy actually. I wasn't expecting the amount to come through, but thanks for that guys, really appreciate that. Well, we had a big party yesterday. Sarah kind of threw a it wasn't a surprise party because I knew it's difficult. You can't really do a surprise party when you kind of live and work together. At home all the time is a bit difficult. But anyway, yeah, she basically arranged everything, and we had about 20 or so guests, and it was yeah, it was amazing. Really good day. Had a bouncy castle in the garden for the kids, and us as well, and all of that. So it was really good. But yeah, we ended up going to sleep pretty early last night, and I've got a massive truck behind me. Yeah, and this morning slept in later than I've ever slept in for probably about a year. So that just shows you. I was doing the barbecue as well, so it was quite an intensive day, but it was good to see everyone anyway, so that's good. So yeah, I'm just popping up the road, blow a few cobwebs out on the old e-bike. Not going particularly fast at the minute, 15 mile an hour, and we're just testing some stuff out. I just wanted to see, because this bike's actually been it's been outside, sitting outside for a little while, all this morning, because I was doing something to it earlier. Just basically sticking this top panel back down because it popped up. I think after a couple of years the adhesive just kind of gave up, and the one of the plastic panels came off. What I might do, I actually might replace some of these plastic panels, because they've got a little bit scratched here and there, and this is like my demo bike. I might you know, just replace them, tidy it up a little bit. But anyway, I just used some sort of 3M double-sided tape to fix these panels back down, because basically they popped up in the heat because the bike was sitting outside in the garden for a while. Anyway, so yeah, I just I noticed it was really hot. Everything was just boiling, because this is probably the hottest day we've had in the UK so far yet. So I thought, yeah, this would be quite interesting just to see how these bikes and everything else cope with really, you know, quite high ambient temperatures. So that's what I'm kind of doing, just messing around. Mainly it's just to go out on the bike, because I just wanted to just go for a little burn. But and it's just such a beautiful day like this. Well, I wasn't expecting that. Sounded like a blooming motorbike. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's just such a lovely day. So warm. The air is just unusually warm for this country. Normally when you're doing this sort of speed, just cruising along, you kind of, you know, you're feeling like you're cooling down. But today it's like hot air, literally hot air. So there you go. But so I've been talking to a few of you guys by email about building bikes and things like that, so that's quite good. In the last video I kind of made it known that we can get all the bits and pieces for the bikes. I can use my indicator, but I'm never sure whether they're actually gonna see it, to be honest, so I'll just use my hand as well. But yeah, so I've been chatting to a few about building e-bikes and getting different things and controllers. My controller still hasn't turned up yet. It was only sent at the end of last week, so I'm not expecting it will be sort of turning up until possibly middle of this week. And that is the new Saviton. Obviously I've tested Savitons to the hills, that's why I kind of sell them now, but the new one has got a TFT display, and so I am going to be testing that. That's going to turn up, as I say, hopefully in the next few days, and then I can test it out, put it in the bike. I'm looking forward to actually trying that out, because see, right now at the moment this Adapto is working. I shouldn't say that when I'm actually a couple of miles away from home, but yeah, it's actually working, and it doesn't seem to be overheating. But when you start pushing it to its not even its upper level, you know, it's an 8 kilowatt controller, but if you push it to sort of, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 watts, just overheats. So I'm not happy about that. So that's the main reason for looking to go back to Sadverton. And the Sadverton that I've had before, you know, I managed to get 12-13 kilowatts out of that. So and then I moved to Adapto, which was a learning curve, and I'm glad I did it. But actually I'm starting to think I just want a simple controller, one that just actually, you know, doesn't have all of this extra stuff to go wrong, because there's a hell of a lot crammed into an Adapto, and it is a very small controller for the size, for the power. So lots of people put heat sinks and all sorts of stuff on the actual controller to try and get more power out of them, or you know, well, I mean, I've not actually managed to. I've always got the full power out of the controllers, but for some reason this particular one, this is the MIDI E, which is supposed to be 8 kilowatts, just doesn't feel quite as powerful. Anyway, I've just shot up that this is quite a, not a steep hill, but it's a reasonable hill, and I've got a tiny little bar you can see on the temperature of the controller. So this is doing well, but I'm only doing like 20 mile an hour, so it's not exactly pushing it. So there you go. So I'm just coming over to these little this little services. It's not even a services really, it's just like a little garage, M&S garage. I need to get some cash out to pay this bouncy castle guy, but anyway, that is what I'm going to do. So I'll probably catch you in a second, so I can concentrate on what I'm supposed to be doing. Right guys, I'm back. Don't she look good? Still needs a clean actually, it does need a clean, but hey ho, you can't you just can't keep these bikes clean, because if it's not getting dirty from the mud, then it's getting dirty from the dust and everything else. But still looking pretty sharp. As I say, I might give it a little refurb. Oh, I've just forgotten to put my gloves on. Ever since I had a really bad fall on my boosted board, it's made me realise the importance of gloves, because even something like this, it is going to make a little bit of difference to your hands scraping down the pavement. It's really not fun. Anyway, let's get on the go. Right, so still in normal mode. What we're saying here, 92%, 79 volts, no issues at all. Multiple ways to get killed or in trouble. People and cars coming out from all sides. Right. Yeah, it's feeling nice, little bit of power. So I just hit like 30 mile an hour up that hill, just no issue at all. I do realise that I do actually look kind of strange on this thing, because you know, people aren't expecting to see like a bike with someone's legs going around, but it's kind of in the way, kind of in the lane position of a motorcycle. But I try to keep my legs going round, because you know, ultimately this is a bike, a bicycle. But you know, as I say, in the last video, if you haven't checked the last video out, I had a nice little conversation with a couple of policemen, nice policemen actually, over at the airport. So I just rode into the airport on this, and just went and got a coffee and stuff at lunchtime, and yeah, they were pretty cool. But there is usually a roadblock down here. They usually kind of have like a police car, and they just stop the traffic and kind of do a few checks and things like that on, you know, odds and sods that go by. I think it's mainly like vans and stuff like that they tend to pull over. But I've been through on the Twizy before. Obviously, you know, this is quite close to where I live, but yeah, and they've kind of gone, they've stopped me and gone, what the hell is that? And have you got a seatbelt on? Because the seatbelt actually comes from the opposite side on the Twizy. Well, I don't know exactly if it does, but that's what they said. Anyway, yeah, just rolling along. But yeah, this new Sabaton controller is looking pretty interesting. It's got TFT screen, programmable by Bluetooth. Now the TFT screen, I've been talking to the manufacturers of this, and because the thing is with Sabaton, they actually send all the data, all of the data comes out of the controller, or it's available as serial data. So whatever you plug into the controller, it's possible to extract that information and process it and then display it. Now the reason I was talking about that is because when I found out this new controller, the TFT screen on it displays voltage, and it does this by connecting to the controller. No, you know, you don't have to add anything else to the system to do it. But it actually displays voltage on the screen, speed, what else? Not as advanced as this, but you know, hopefully simpler, less to go wrong, more reliable. But yeah, anyway, so I was talking to them about, would it be possible to add all of the other information in there? Let's just try and come out. That's it. Thanks, mate. Now I'll just blast away. Yeah, so I think it's going to be possible later with maybe some sort of firmware update, that we might be able to get you know, extra data showing on that display. It's kind of disappointing that it doesn't have that, but the plan for me is, what I'm going to do, I think, is I might go back to my original idea, and that is to basically add use a Victron battery meter. So those of you who have watched, oh blimey, must be one of my early e-bike quad bike videos, I showed basically I kind of ripped apart an electric quad bike and replaced all the batteries with LiPo, and then used the Victron battery meter to display all the information. And it was so cool because the Victron battery meter is round, and it actually just slotted in the existing battery meter on the quad bike hull. So you had this really nice Victron display with a blue screen, and all of the information. And then I did the Bluetooth thing as well, so you could actually monitor the charging of the quad bike from inside the house, which is awesome. But yeah, things have moved on. I think I'm now using that Victron meter in one of my like backup power supply things that I built, with the, you know, a bunch of lithium-ion batteries, just like a something connected to an inverter, so you can just run main stuff. The backpack video that I did, go check that out. Yeah, so where was I? Just going off on tangents all the time. But yeah, basically, you know, we're gonna stick that Sabaton in here, test it out, and I'm going to use a Victron battery meter to display all of the information on the bike. Maybe I'll put it down here or something like that. I want it in a nice position so that doesn't look ridiculous. But yeah, I haven't quite worked that out yet. But those Victron meters are really very good. I mean, they're probably better. It's probably a better watt meter than there's actually on here. And then that gives you a nice range indication, because you know, this actually shows you your miles. So like at the moment it's saying 25 miles range, but you know, I don't know how accurate that really is, and it's very instantaneous as well. You know, like when you're in the car and you kind of look at your fuel consumption, there's two, on a lot of cars there's two. One is like your instantaneous consumption, like what you're doing right this very second, and then another one is one that's based on, I don't know, like 100 miles or something, or over time. Twizz's a bit like that as well. But basically what you really want to know, and what this does, I mean, you can see how many amp hours of course you've used. You can display anything you want, but on the Victron stuff, it's, you know, it's no BS, it's just on the screen. says a percentage. You can calibrate that percentage manually or whatever you want to do, and it's just going to say, you know, 100%, 50%, bang, you're out of power. And it's going to be clearer to see, I think, anyway. And also then you get the Bluetooth monitoring as well, for monitoring it over a distance. So if the bike is sitting outside on charge, you can just come to the window and you know, don't even have to go out there, you can just see what the percentage is. So that's quite useful. Don't know what I'm going to do about BMS yet. I mean, at the moment, see, I'm using, I was saying this to explaining this to some of my friends at the party, because they were asking about the bike, and yeah, it's because I've had all this hoo-ha with the battery, and I will go back to probably like a custom build again very soon, but I wanted to explore the Bosch packs, because I've been using these Bosch packs, haven't I? So I've got 36 volt Bosch packs in here, 4 of them, 2 in parallel, 2 in series, so you're getting 72 volts and 12 amp hour, and they're doing all right. I mean, they can give up on this setup. I mean, I think this is a lot to do with the controller really, but on this setup they're probably giving, I don't know, 5 kilowatts, I think it is, something like that. I think that's probably the max you want to do for, yeah, the individual packs are 6 amp hour packs, so you've got a 6 amp hour pack connected to a 6 amp hour pack to give you 12 amp hours, and then 2 in series to give you 72 volts at 12 amp hours. So the number of cells in there is going to be 20, because each pack is a 10S 2P, I believe, and they're 3,000, so they're 3,000 amp hour cells. 3,000, not, well, it'd be great if they were 3,000 milliamp hour cells, and yeah, and you've got 2 in parallel, so it's giving you 6. So it's quite a lump of power in one block. But anyway, the reason for using the drill packs is basically because I wanted to experiment and to see if it was viable to use something off the shelf that you can just basically go and buy and use as an e-bike pack. I've made a harness to connect them all together, and yeah, so far so good, working really, really well. And as I said in another video, because of the way the big manufacturers like Bosch or whoever makes their packs, they have cells that are going to be very, very, because they buy such a massive batch of them, they're going to have cells that are very closely matched in internal resistance and everything else. So you shouldn't, in theory, you know, have too many problems with things going out of balance, and that has been the case. I've got to say, I don't even think that the Bosch tools do any kind of proper balancing at any point. They just, I mean, some of these power tools, they must be pulling, you know, they must be pulling 20, 30, 40 amps. I mean, if you have take one of these drills, these SDS Bosch drills, they're something like 1,000 watt or something. So, and they're running on one 36 volt, you know, 6 amp hour battery. So peaks have got to be off the chart, you know, for that. I mean, if you're running 10 amps at 36 volts, and it's, you know, that's 36 volts nominal. So say maybe, you know, 30, 40, say 40 volts, and you know, if you're running 10 amps, then that's 400 watts. So 20 amps is, you know, 800 watts. So you're getting up there, and you know, the rating on these cells is supposed to be about 15 amps, you know, maximum continuous. So I've got this set to what have I got it set to? I've got it set to 60 maximum. I think I might have pushed it just a little bit more, but yeah, it's basically fine. Now, just looking at here, my temperature's gone up to basically got 2 bars, so it's creeping up. It's creeping up, still creeping up. But I mean, it's sort of fine really for this kind of thing. I mean, if you wanna hoon around at 40 mile an hour all the time, which is not advised, but if you do want to do that, you know, around back roads and stuff like that, you're gonna need more than a MIDI E adapter to do it, out of my experience, unless you can really tune things down so that it doesn't get hot. But I've had no luck with that whatsoever. So I'm going to the Sadverton 150 amp, and then I didn't even notice whether she indicated then. Anyway, good pub this up here, if anyone knows this area. Yeah, anyway, that is where that's where I'm coming from. It's basically, you know, different ways of achieving different things. But I mean, battery wise, I'm gonna be getting some battery packs. They're gonna ship from China, because it's a lot better shipping stuff. Believe it or not, it's actually better to ship stuff, or cheaper as well, to ship stuff directly from China to, you know, customers around the world. You guys, you know, you will have to pay a little bit of import duty, but we will, you know, we do kind of make it a little bit easier. There's certain things we can do to make that process a bit easier, but it's just mainly because holding stock in the UK and everything else involved in it is just a nightmare. And if we then got to ship it out to places in Europe and the States and stuff, it just gets crazy, especially batteries. Now over there they've got some pretty interesting ways of getting batteries over, and so basically you can order from us here. We'll ship it from our warehouse over in China. We're getting sort of more and more bits and pieces over there to basically sell on cloudstow.com, and then yeah, and then you'll be able to get it a bit like kind of ordering from China, but you'll actually get a decent support from the West. And if you have any issues, you can just send the product back to the UK, or yeah, the UK office, and you won't have to go all the way back to China for all of that side of it. If things need to be repaired, then maybe, but most of the time, if there's any issues with anything, it will just mean that, you know, it will just mean a replacement. So that is, yeah, that's worth looking at. Go check out the website again. I'm going to keep plugging it because it's quite an interesting thing, and you know, I want to kind of, you know, bring these bikes a little bit closer to you guys. I know there are bikes you can order and you can buy. You know, there's ways of doing it. There are companies starting to offer things now, but this is a unique one really, because it can be a bike and it can be damn right insane. And if you want the best of both worlds, I think it's a really good option. You know, you can order everyone. I mean, the Stealth bike was the first on the market, wasn't it? There was all that. That was kind of available at, you know, and all these things have their place. But I mean, I like the ability to customize something exactly the way you want it. If you're not into that, then, you know, it's not a problem. The thing with these bikes as well is they're very easy to put together. The parts. If you're not a bike mechanic, then the best thing to, well, not say a bike mechanic, but if you're not that handy, then the best thing to do is just take the bits and take it to a really good bike shop. The thing about bike shops these days is they're actually making a lot of their income off of repairing people's bikes and doing all of that. So you find some fantastic guys, like I had a lot of conversations, and I had quite a lot of help originally, doing all the mechanical side and making sure I got it right so that it wouldn't fall apart, because I'm an electronics guy. I'm not necessarily a mechanical guy, and that has just been, you know, that's just been an absolute blinder of a help. So yeah, just, I mean, speak to your local bike shop, roll in there with all the pieces, I'm pretty sure they'll help you out. And the electrical side, putting all that together, yeah, it's pretty much plug and play, but there are some things you need to be aware of course, like with all this stuff. Anyway, this is my little my little back lane. I love this little lane. It is awesome now because it's just bone dry, perfect. We do take the dogs, go for a little walk with the dogs now and again down there, which is cool. Oh, lovely time of year. I was looking at my GoPro footage because I was I found I was trying to sort out my SD cards, and I found a GoPro SD card, and it had a load of footage of, I don't know, I must have done some more e-bike videos that I didn't actually put out there in the winter, and it just looked atrocious. I was thinking, bloody hell, how did I go out in that? Why would I bother? And then you get this time of year, it's just absolutely fantastic. The only thing I don't like down here is all these really low-hanging branches. I mean, take your head off. Got to watch it. This is cool though. Do you know what? Because I don't really ride a bicycle that much anymore. I'll just stop here and say what I'm going to say. Yeah, because I don't really ride a bicycle that much anymore, I forget how fast you're actually going on a bicycle, and you're not going very fast at all. You know, most of the time you feel like you're going fast, but you ain't going fast, not compared to this, trust me. But it's quite a weird thing. I'm so used to it now that I feel like if I just got on a normal bike, I don't know, it'd just feel pretty slow. But I'm thinking of doing that anyway. I might actually kind of, what I'll probably do is get another bike and then just end up converting it again, because I'll just be fed up with it. Right, I'm going to go up this way rather than through that water. Look at that lovely bit of power going on. This is kind of like a little shortcut way of getting over the thing, but yeah, this is a bit tricky, this one. Turn it off just in case I blip the throttle. I could probably, if I was good enough, I could probably do this, but oh, it's gone in the water. I know there'll be some of you out there that will be able to, that would probably just ride that, but yeah, I need to get out on this more and practice a bit more. Right, temperature's pretty good. I'm really hot under this helmet though, I'll tell you what. I'm going to take this off, I'm going to be like a sweaty mess. So it'll be like, oh my god, what have you done? There's some nice new trails as well that I've found, which I'm going to start to explore at some point. But I've just got to get over there. Trouble is, it's a really long track, and it's going to take quite a bit out of the battery to get there anyway. So yeah, I don't know. Sarah wants to ride it on her bike as well. She hasn't got an electric bike. She won't have one, but I may just do one for her and just say, there you go. And if she don't want it, then she don't want it. But I'm sure if she started riding one, she'd love it, because, you know, she's like as lazy as me, really. Anyway, guys, that's it from this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Go, whoa, that's a thorny old stick, that one. Yeah, go check out my other videos. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like this one, it sort of kind of helps things, I think, if you do that. And yeah, I've obviously got Instagram as well. Go and check out my Instagram. I do quite a lot of stuff on there. Might be interesting Instagram stories. Follow me on Twitter, all the usual platforms on there. So just look for me or give us a shout. And yeah, happy to answer any questions or anything else. So hope you all have a good week, or whatever day you end up uploading this, I'm not sure. And I'll catch you in the next video, guys.